So I'm driving. Sorry for not really looking at the camera too much. How y'all doing? I hope you're all doing good. So I just want to come on here real quick and talk about a few things in my life. I don't really know where to start, so bear with me. So here's a little bit about my story and my backstory and stuff. When I was born in 1983, my mom and my dad had a rocky relationship, and that's okay. People don't always get along, right? So that just set out a whole chain of events that started happening in my life at a very young age. So I learned some very hard lessons really early on. By 1988, my mom was in a traffic accident. She was hit and killed by a drunk driver. And that was devastating for me. I mean, that was an extreme annihilation of my character, my being, my soul. And it still hurts me today. I mean, really bad. I didn't have a mom growing up. That was terrible. And, sometimes things happen in our lives for specific reasons. And the older we get, the more wise we become, and the more we realize that if those extreme traumatic events hadn't happened to us, we wouldn't be who we are today. So there's just a catalyst of events that happen after that. My grandmother was murdered shortly after on Valentine's Day. And then I was with my dad full time at that point, and it was hard. He didn't know how to raise me. My mom never wanted me around his dad, my dad's dad, because, and this is a sore subject for a lot of people to talk on, and if there's children in the room, this probably wouldn't be an appropriate topic for them. So not kid friendly, just trigger warning. My mom knew that my dad's dad was not good to women or children, for that matter. So that was a rough event for me to also go through, very traumatic, and it takes a lot of healing. And then, so that happened, and that's still with me today, which led me down a lot of different roads, a lot. Not just one, many, multiple. I've walked multiple lines. I've walked multiple roads. I have relived certain events so many times in my life that it seems like I'm doing it over and over and over again, right? And I'm sure some of you have felt that way as well. Don't you ever feel like you're repeating something, or deja vu hits, right? And you're like, why is this happening? Have I already done this? And then, as you start to look into your family lines, your spiritual history, your religious or non-religious beliefs, your, what makes you you? What makes you tick? Where do you come from? You start realizing, wow, that's perfect, guys. I hope you can still hear me because I can't grab it. Let me pull over. Just bear with me. I'm so sorry. Hold on now, and I will pull over right here and pick that back up. So where were we? does that pertain to me and my life? Right? Well, my dad got sober when I finally got all the way sober when I turned 18, when I was pregnant with my son. And when he got sober, it almost killed him, and he was in his 40s, probably about the age I am now, 41. And so, in his words, he hit his knees and he prayed that God didn't take him yet, because he knew that I would not be able to deal with that. I had already lost my mom, and then I lost my grandma, and then all that terrible stuff happened to me in between. So if I'd have lost my dad right then and there, I wouldn't be here right now. I would be dead, probably. So he says in his words, mind you, I forgot to tell you, he was in ICU in the hospital on his deathbed. He had cirrhosis of the liver. He had kidney failure. He had hepatitis C. He was jaundiced. He was swelled up, so swelled up. It was like the worst thing I ever seen. It was devastating for me. I couldn't even go see him. I went and saw him one time, and then when he told me that he was going to die, I never went back again, and he knew that I wouldn't be able to handle it. And so he told me, Melissa, I believe in God, because when I hit my knees and I cried out to him and I asked him to save my life, because you couldn't be without me yet. And the next couple days, he just kept getting better and better and better. And they kept testing him, and everything just disappeared, right? Just gone like that. So, that is a miracle, is it not? That'll make you believe that God is real, that Jesus is real, that all of those things are real, right? Really put some faith in you. So he told the Lord after that, when he was getting better in the hospital, that he would dedicate his life to the Lord for the rest of his life. And he kept that promise, and he's still holding that promise right now, today. My dad has, I think, 23 or 25 years, maybe, clean and sober. He became a pastor of a Christian church in our local area. I was side by side with him on that, because I saw the miracle myself, right? I saw my dad better. And so I was sold out on that after I got out of prison, because I got in some trouble. I went through a lot more things, but we don't have time to talk about it all now. But after I was released from being incarcerated for 3 years, I was sold out on the Lord right there, side by side with my dad. I was doing Bible study. I was doing 12-step program. I was leading 12-step program. I was in prayer group. I was praying in tongues. I mean, powerful, powerful stuff, right? Just stuff that the average Joe doesn't do without something they're helping, right? So I always believed, but I had a hard time understanding the Godhead, right? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, right? Never made sense to me, and here's why. It just didn't have an explanation. Nope. nobody within the congregation or organization or within the church, not the community, not the collective, nobody, not even my own dad, who always had all the answers for everything. Nobody had a good answer to how that works. Okay? And there was a lot left unsaid. And when I'm telling you I read the Bible every single day, I read the Bible every single day. Now, have I read everything within the Bible? No. I haven't read every single word. But I will one day. So now here we are, fast forward. Okay, because my drive's almost over. Look at this. I live right here next to this beautiful lake. I hope you guys can see that. Oh my gosh, it's the most beautiful lake. Honestly. Alright, so fast forward now to 2017, which is crazy. A friend of mine also started becoming awake in 2017. So, anyways, so in 2017, I was not doing good. I was in my addictions. I was living in the hotel grid. I was not really doing much of anything except for illegal stuff, to be honest with you. I didn't have my kids, okay? They were with their dad. And, not only were they gone with their dad because I had been incarcerated, but he never brought them to see me or anything. And, that was also very, very hard for me. So, I was wilding out, to be honest with you. I was just wilding out. And, not doing anything worth a damn. Alright, I gotta pause. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. So, where were we at, guys? Where were we at? Let me think. So, anyways, long story short, let's just get to it. That's why I believed in God. Okay? And why it was so important for me. Well, as I started to awake, I always had a little bit of a hand on the dark side as well as the light side. I could always walk both paths, and I never understood why. But I understand why now. And a lot of it has to do with who you are when you're born, where you're aligned within your birth chart, and I've been seeking God, and I believe, my belief is, in the equator, in the ethers, there's planetary alignment. And when those planets align just perfect, okay, in the sky, just perfect, that it opens a doorway for you to be able to ascend to a higher level, or maybe not physically, but spiritually, and also quite possible, because I'm still figuring it out and learning more, when those planets align, not only do we elevate or ascend, right, but the planet itself elevates to a new level, or to a higher level, right? And this is just my basic understanding, of science and planets and all the different things that we so much associate with different religions. Now, I used to be religious, okay? I'm not religious anymore. I don't believe in religion, okay? I believe in relationship. And not just relationship, but I believe in the facts. I just cannot unsee or unhear the things that I know now. It's not possible. There's just no way to unhear it or unsee it. And not only that, but at the end of the day, I just want the truth. And I know the rest of you do too. So I know that my videos are, not high quality, not high tech, and I really don't have a clue what I'm even doing here yet. So I'm hoping as time goes by, we will learn together and become more aware, not awoke, I hate that word, more enlightened in truth, in the facts. And the facts are, what are the facts? You see what I mean? We may never know. We may never know until we know, right? And I don't want to offend anybody, and I don't want anybody to be offended, because I believe that everybody should have their own belief. And whatever you choose to believe is what you choose to believe. Whatever I choose to believe is what I choose to believe. But I know what's helped me. And do I think I'm going to go to some place called hell if I don't do a certain amount of things? Or that, the devil is going to come and, burn me in hell eternally for the rest of my days? Or that Jesus is going to come out of the sky? That one's a hard one for me. I don't know. But I do know that astrology, astronomy, science, mythology is what so many like to call it. And it's not mythology. It's not myth. It's truth. There is truth to the Greek text. Okay? When in doubt. I'm just saying, people. Okay, so the Greek language, the translation, this is the moral of the story and where I'm at today. What I'm trying to figure out is the Greek's language was the first written versions of what we call today the New Testament, the Old Testament, the Bible. Okay? So it doesn't match up. And unless you can read Greek, you'd never know. But those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, they will. You will. All right, guys. Do your research. Talk to you later.